Welcome to this morning's session of Trade Along Live with Sol, focused on the S&P 500 E-mini. We're here daily slugging it out. If you'd like to be part of it, join us at tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. We're looking to get underway here. It's pretty close to 9:30. Sol will be popping in shortly. Sol's a veteran of the trading pits in Chicago, the 25-year veteran, 25-year plus veteran of the trading pits in Chicago. He's actively scalping his own trading account. He utilizes a price action trading strategy. He can teach you that strategy in private class. In other words, he has a opportunity for individuals to join him in private class. He calls it his mentoring and training service. It's great for new traders. It's great for experienced traders that are looking to turn their trading around and start to develop consistent profitability in their trading. Sol helps traders develop and become the best traders they can be. So join us, tradealonglive.com. This session between 9 a.m. and 12 noon is dedicated to traders that know what they're doing and are just looking for a trade along partner. In this case, a 25-year veteran trader, and also looking for key areas and levels, opportunity points for their trades. So this is a distinct service. It's an educational only service. Sol is your host and mentor. It's become very popular when it comes to those that know what's going on. So if you help get the word out, that's great. Just send them to tradealonglive.com and they can hook up, join us as a guest, and then we ask guests to switch over pretty quickly to paid. Phenomenal rate. A, it shows you care. B, it shows you, or shows us, that basically you can afford to trade. There's a lot of people out there that don't meet the criteria of trading the market, and we want to make sure everybody's here for the right reason. You could set up an account pretty easily. So this is a great introduction for new traders coming into the trading game. We can help you get set up. We can point you in the right direction to get set up for a trading platform. We can help you get set up and ready to go against real-time data. In other words, you can have an order entry package. You could trade against real-time data. You can practice. And as you get more familiar with what's going on, then it's the opportunity to do perfect practice. In other words, learn in this case, could be Sol's price action trading technique, and then be supported in that technique as you're applying it by being part of Sol's mentoring and his training. Sol takes you under his wing. You go into private class in Zoom. He teaches you one-on-one-ish, and you take it from there. If you do take his mentoring and training, it comes with free access to this Trade Along Live session on a daily basis. And it's a great proving ground and an access point to Sol as you're applying your newfound trading skills. So it's pretty straightforward. This is a great entry. We call it the Trade Along Live session. It's a paid service. You pay us, or you pay Sol, and you get to stay. You get to ask questions, interact, trade along with Sol. You'll receive his proprietary scalping levels for this morning's trade. And again, everything we do here is for educational purposes only. Nothing's taken as direct trading or investment advice. Sol's levels, his pivot, and his other levels on top and bottom of that pivot are changeable based on the action of price after the opening bell. In other words, there's a fluidity. There's an art form to trading. You can learn it from Sol if you would like. You could also have your own when you come in here and you're just looking for a trade along partner in Sol, and also his proprietary scalping levels, his pivot, his scalping levels and zones, his pivot, and his other levels on top and bottom of that pivot. So take a moment and self-police yourself. We exited a lot of people on Friday that just weren't switching over to paid. So self-assess yourself. Make sure you are paid. I'm going to send it out to you. It's nominal, so there's no excuse. We expect 100% participation. The information we give here, in our humble opinion, is too good. Hey, Anand, how are you? Hey, Anand, I wanted to catch up with you. Let me know the best way. I think we did it. I'm not sure if we did it from WhatsApp or maybe it was on Skype. Just let me know. Carl, how you making out? Edward. Hey, Glenn. Jeffrey. Hey, James, KG. Luis, Michael. Hey, Pat, how are you? Philip, Roop. Johnny Z's in the house. We're all set and ready to go here. Hey, Dean, check the chat feature, self-police. We'll be exiting more people shortly, so make sure you're not one of them. If you need trading software, let us know. We can point you in the right direction. Just trading the S&P 500 E-mini futures contract. It's great. In my humble opinion, it's a great, highly liquid contract. Disciplined trading. The ability to make money on the upside and the downside. But again, it's about discipline, focus, and a trading technique. Trading is a contact sport. An individual contributor contact sport. Because it's about money.
Good morning, everyone. Could everybody hear me all right? Let's give you our levels for this morning. Our pivot this morning is 4205. Now we're trading the June contract. Resistance at 18, 26, 34, 44, and 56. Support below at 41.98, 88, 74, 61, and 49. Pivot 05, resistance at 18, 26, 34, 44, and 56. Support below at 98, 88, 74, 61, and 49. All right, market here. And it was had a nice little rally overnight, and then kind of gave it up here after Europe opened up. And we'll see where it wants to go from here. So welcome some of the new folks that are here. We are trading mini S&Ps, looking for opportunities to scalp the market based on the levels we gave out, plus any price action opportunities that might occur once the market paints some bars. A combination of both of those gives us our opportunities to trade. So it's a new day, new week. See what the week brings. Obviously, trading a lot on geopolitical situation as well as the domestic inflation, or probably global inflation situation now going on. So that is, especially with the Fed having their meeting this week, deciding what they're going to do about interest rates, especially since they have to weigh raising rates on the with the geopolitical situation. So there's lots of them to talk, lots of things to discuss here. But as far as interest rates are concerned, they definitely have given back most of their gains in regards to the geopolitical situation. There was a flight to quality at the beginning, but even though that's still continuing, bond market here, rates have gone up or have stayed up in regards to the with the anticipation, I should say, of what the Fed is going to do, in their meeting and going forward. All right. So we are drifting around here, support down at the 98 area. Again, we are scalping right now, probably scalping for about 5 points, I think, with that would be a doable amount coming down here to the 98 area. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. All right. Pop down there to the 98, trying to get a little bit of rotation here off of that. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. This is the first bar still, so it's a little bit of a definitely has its volatility. That's first bar. As you can see, they push it up to the 15 area and flush it all the way back down here. So very, very volatile. Always the first couple bars in the morning are very volatile. Some of our traders like to not trade during those, at least the first 10, 15 minutes is volatility, especially after the weekend. Try to figure out where it wants to go and what it wants to do. So always keep that in mind if you're trading, when to trade, right? When not to trade. Those are all, understanding your risk tolerance. All of those are important to consider when you're trading. All right. I'm working this 98 area here a little bit. Make sure you keep your stops in place. That's for sure. No reason not to keep your stops in place. $92.50 there, as you can see, is the settlement price. So just make sure you keep your stop in place no matter how you trade, no matter what the deal is. Always important to keep your stops in place. Our next level down below is down at the 88 area. Again, you never know what the market is reacting to or not reacting to. It's just the nature of the beast here, especially the first few, the first couple bars in the morning, always very tenuous, always very nerve-wracking kind of bars, just because they are what they are. There's a lot of, especially after the weekend. There are levels. If you look at the chat box area, you'll find the levels that we have printed there for you. Right. All right, so we dip down right to the settlement price there. If you are somewhat aggressive, maybe you bought them down there as well after maybe you exited, or maybe you just doubled up down there. A nice rotation here off of it. Those are one of the levels that we look at. All right, so nice little pop there against our settlement price. So, again, I don't know what the settlement price, when I'm setting the levels up, I'm not looking at those kind of things. Those are price action opportunities that come into play in addition to our levels. Let's see here what we could talk about. So next level on the downside we have is down at 88. Yeah, all right. Stay with that right now and see where it wants to go. A little bit of pressure this morning. Again, it's Monday after the weekend. They did, like I said, overnight have a nice little rally until Europe opened up. Coming down here to the 88. Very, very fluid little market here, so be very careful. Make sure you keep your stops in place no matter how you trade. Very important. I'm not going to love any trade we put on. And remember, these the first couple bars is always a little bit, more riskier than the rest of the days. But these days, every day has its own little. I would respect the settlement price here if you are trading this level. Nice rotation here off of that 88 area. This one we didn't have to work as much as we had to work the other one. Again, respect the settlement price here. So this is where I would get out here unless you're trying to stay long. All right. So nice rotation there against the, and then we got enough 5 points right here. So if you just held on for the 5 points, you're good. Either way, if you want to try to stay long, have a trailing stop. Depends on what you're looking at. Next downside support is down at 74. As the market here opens up after the weekend, where then again absorbing the Russia situation. There's always going to be a Russian situation right now because there's so many factors involved there. We did get up to that 93 area there, so hopefully you'll take some profits. Next level on the downside was down at 74. Russia is due to make a key interest rate payment on its foreign debt on Wednesday, but with sanctions strangling its economy, Moscow is threatening to repay international bondholders in rubles. Okay. Financial minister pointed to the measures that have frozen nearly half of Russia's 642 billion in foreign reserves, as well as heavy strain on its financial system. Moscow is specifically set to make a combined $117 million in interest payments on $2 denominated bonds, which are currently trading at 20 cents on the dollar, though neither of them are allowed to be repaid in rubles. Okay. It will be up to ratings agencies to consider if this is deemed a default, given the numerous technical factors that go into the classification. Again, we went down there, retested that 88, come back up here again. I don't have any resistance until we have until our upper level there of the 18 area. I would do anything else here if we do rotate back up. The ruble has already collapsed by more than 40% since the invasion in Ukraine on February 24th, and this time around, there won't be any help from the West in terms of servicing the debt obligations. I can say that no longer we think Russia's default is improbable, as an improbable event. Russia has the money to service its debt, but cannot access it. A deep recession is in store for the country. She added, though, it's unlikely to trigger global financial crisis, as the bank's global exposure to Russia is definitely not systematically relevant. Okay. All right, we are kind of just hanging here on these lows. We did bounce off of our 88 level. Again, if you took your loss there against our 98, you should have been over right here with the 88. Again, depending on how you traded at 98, there was that settlement price did help us if you were a little aggressive there. Route Industries is picking up speed as inflationary fears spur forecasts for an abrupt shift towards aggressive monetary tightening. 10-year yield climbed 9 basis points overnight to 2.09. Remember, they were at 275, 274 area with this thing started. So they're back at those levels, touching the levels last seen in July of 2019. That's ahead of a start of the FOMC March meeting tomorrow, with interest rates are expected to rise 25 basis points. And Powell will be drilled on the pace of coming tightening following the release of the latest dot plot. The good old dot plot. After Russia invasion of Ukraine in February, traders poured into safe haven assets like treasuries, but that didn't last long. Markets are now pricing in rate hikes at each of the Fed's subsequent meetings for 22, meaning that another 6 increases this year. The federal government bond in Europe is also stung. Were also stung last week after the ECB cut its growth forecast, raised inflation predictions against the backdrop of war in Ukraine. As we're coming up here to our blue band, nice rotation there against the 88 area. Again, it did go back down there, probably got you out of any longs. That's what a market does. It's supposed to get you out of longs, right? Or good positions. So next level on the upside we have is up at the 18 area resistance. All right, market coming back up here, trying to see if it wants to hold and continue to uptick. We got next level resistance around the 18 area. All right, we're going to be coming back up here. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. And if you look at the chat box, you'll see the levels that we're using today as a guide to the day. Again, we can add to them, subtract from them. You can tweak them a little bit. Everything's based on the price action and volatility of the day. And every day has its own set of dynamics that create the volatility. Obviously, because of everything that's going on around with inflation, geopolitical situation, a lot of stuff to be considering here. The market is very, very swift, very quick moving. Got to keep your stops in place. And we're trying to find areas where we can scalp the market to kind of minimize our exposure to risk, right? But you have to be disciplined so that you don't get caught up in any of these, one of these moves. always look for the next opportunity. Like I said, if you exited the 98, then you look for the 88 and did all right with that. Right. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Like I said, there's no economic reports coming out this morning. Gold is down to 1967 again, so they were up at around 2010, I think. So they're kind of gave up some of their war gains. And bonds have also given up their flight to quality gains as they're more concerned, as we talked about, with the inflation situation in the globally, I should say, not only in the United States, but most specifically in the United States. The Hong Kong market was down 5% this morning, and I think it's kind of just a lot of concerns there with some of the Chinese companies. So, I mean, China was down 2.6% and Hong Kong was down 5%. We're just kind of, trading both sides of our settlement price here. So, not considering what's going on around the world, it's not so bad. Well, COVID is raging in South Korea. China's policies, they don't want any COVID at all. So they have put a lockdown on one of their provinces or states or whatever, 17 million people. They locked them down for a week. So they are definitely, and most of the world is, I think, dealing with the virus after, dealing with the whatever is out there. They're dealing with it a little bit different than they dealt with it before. But China has a zero. They don't want any of it around. We have a small percentage. They don't want any percentages. So they lock down the whole state, like 17 million people. Kind of goofy, but that's what they're doing over there. But, that's what their policy is. All right, we're just both sides of our blue band here, kind of just trying to figure out where it wants to go next. Little resistance around the 18 area again, because we got up to 15 just prior to that. Maybe just be a little bit careful there around 18. Maybe trade a little bit less. It's not as strong a level as I would have liked to get up there on the initial rotation, and then it just kind of halted there and came off right at 15. Yeah, they just brought it back here. Again, market is trying to figure out, it's got it's got the war situation, and then it's got the uh, uh, inflation situation. They're trying to price in these rate hikes that are going to be occurring, and then come up with some kind of. But then you have the geopolitical situation that comes into play, and that creates a lot more volatility. So definitely, that's where we get the volatility, and we get the quick rotations back and forth as people are trying to figure out what all this means. All right, market trying to figure out which way it wants to go around our blue band here, trading on both sides of it. So very, very quiet. They sucked out a lot of quick volatility there. Well, gas prices are just going to go up until they don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy. At some point, everything will settle down, and maybe it'll go a lot higher before it even comes back down. But it'll come at some point. It'll come back down. It's just very when you go fill up your car, it's like, whoa, what? All right, they kind of just held up there around the 12 area, came off. Again, just kind of trying to figure out what it wants to do. Very, very nervous little trade. Oil is down. Oh, that's a good thing. Look, what goes up must come down and vice versa, right? So at some point, that's going to get back down to, but you know what, no matter how much it's down, the effect on the gas pumps are not like right away. It takes like a month to get to get that effect and to get the gas station. But boy, when it goes up, you get that effect right away. It's funny how that works, which I never understood because the gas is already made. It's not like you're buying new oil to produce the gas that's going into our tanks in the next week or so. It's already been bought a long time ago, processed and everything. But hey, why not? Why not act like pigs about it? And then when it goes down, never goes down fast enough. Wonder why that happens. All right, we're just kind of bouncing around here a little bit. Patience, all you can do here. All right, again, coming up here, 18, a little resistance area there. Not as strong as it was when we started the day, but it is a little bit there, so be a little bit careful around it. Definitely quieted down here. They had the one rotation early on, and then they just kind of pulled the plug here, kind of trying to figure out where it wants to go. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. All right, we're kind of straddling our blue band here, so very could go either way here. So it's Pi Day today. Forgot about that. 314. Oh, it's gonna get there done, I think. Again, got to be a little bit careful here around the 18, just because of the way the price action is acting and acted prior to that. So not as strong a level as it was when we first started. All right, we're just coming back down here to our blue band area. Very, market doesn't know what it wants to do. VIX is trading at 32. So it's about right, I think. All right, we come back down here, trading literally both sides of our pivot now. So again, very no real conviction. The market doesn't have one either. I don't definitely have one, and we're just kind of hanging out. All right, finally coming up here to the 18 area. Again, It's a little bit tenuous, like I said earlier. Trade a little bit smaller around it. See what it wants to do. Take a little bit less, a little sort of profit there because the way it's trading or traded prior to that. Either way, just trade a little bit more cautiously than you usually would. If you're more risk averse, you're looking at the 26 area. Okay, nice. Again, keep a tight stop up here. Let's not love this. Take a little bit less profit than you usually would. If you, just like I said, it could definitely, it's not as strong as it was a little while ago, but if you're working it, maybe you took a little bit of a profit there and move on with it. We could easily rotate back. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just saying. Price action is a little bit riskier than it was a little while ago. All right, market continues to uptick here. And again, we talked about 18 wasn't as strong an area as we would have liked. Coming up here to the 26 area now. Again, if you're more risk averse, that's what you're waiting for. All right, we're coming up here to the 26 area. Again, talk about this being a little bit better trade than the 18 for those reasons we talked about. All right, nice little rotation there against the 26 area. Briefly, scared it off. All right, work in this 26 area here a little bit. All right, and again, you get up to 26 there for you. So if you're just playing the 26, you got a nice rotation here off of it. Again, we're not getting a rotation you like and time issue, then just uh, get out and take your profits, or whatever they may be. You got like 3 points here. You get these rally markets totally different than, you know, down markets, especially since it seems to have held, um, the settlement price, then kind of held the rotation there around the blue band. So seems like it wants to rotate to the upside. All right, there we go. Again, a nice rotation here against our 26 area. Nice rotation back down here, giving us our 5 points. Took no heat on that whatsoever. Well, yeah, I don't think we took any heat compared to what the market's been doing lately. No heat at all. So nice rotation there against our 26. Again, it's just a matter of being a little bit patient, waiting for opportunities. We suggested that the 18 might be a little bit tenuous for price action reasons. Again, anything we say or talk about or I'm talking about is definitely taught. We try to make you understand why those things would happen. And we also want to give you reasons to trade. And that's what we do in our education course. And if you look at the chat box, you will see the levels that we have imprinted there that we're using as a guide to the day. And we gave those out at the beginning of the day, and that includes the 26 there. All right, again, nice rotation against the 26. And now market is coming back up here. Next level of resistance we have is up at 34. Support right now would be around the 15 area. All right. So support around, a little support around 15. Probably better support around our pivot. Okay, but a very quiet day today. But we've had a couple nice trades here. And should be okay. Considering it's kind of slow. I mean, I'm surprised at how slow it is. You never know with these markets, right? I mean, no matter what. Yeah, I guess hanging around Giselle all day is a little bit of a problem for him. All right, market continues to uptick. Next level resistance we have is up at the 34 area. Yeah, market very, very, yeah, a little bit bullish, not too bad. But again, just kind of trying to regain some of those losses they lost overnight, even though they did rally them. Market's going to be more concerned about the interest rates. I think they're unless they've discounted the war situation already. I think because now the bond market is all the way back down here to higher interest rates. The meeting starts tomorrow, and they'll make the announcement on Wednesday, and then they have Wednesday afternoon. They'll make the announcement, and he'll have his Q&A session afterwards. So it'll be on Wednesday. All right, market down ticking here a little bit. Again, we have resistance up. Next level of resistance we have is up at the 34 area. Now we had a little support right at the 15 area there. Did go right down to that 15 and did bounce back up here a little bit. All right, nice pop there against the 15 area that we talked about has some support. Now we're rotating back up here. Next level of resistance we have is up at 34. All right, coming back up here, next level resistance up here is the 34. Again, patience is important. And a nice rotation down to the 15 area. We talked about it being some support and then popped it back up. Now we're just looking for these upper levels here. Next level is 34. All right, kind of just bouncing around here a little bit. Patience is important. Did go down to a good support area there at 15, come back up, and now we're just kind of trading a little bit of a range here. Next resistance area we have is up at the 34 area. All right, quickly come up here to the 34 area, as you can see. That was fast, but that's what happens. And you just never know when these moves are going to occur. So work in the 34 area here a little bit.